Question for the men. Why is it that you guys have stopped approaching women in real life? Because I feel like back in the day, like early 2000s, maybe the 90s, it was so common for men to walk up to women, have a little conversation, and maybe if the vibe is right, ask them out. But nowadays, I don't see that anymore. What's going on? What made you stop approaching women?
And girls are so annoyed by the fact that guys don't come up to them, that like
They
exactly
hate
what
it.
you guys are saying. They're like, it's so annoying. What's happened with the culture where like guys don't walk up to you and say something?
But would
it's-
it be different if a girl kept smiling at you and you're like, oh, okay, like you could tell she's interested?
Yeah, if I felt like I had it, if I had it in, then maybe you'd be more confident going up and speaking to him.
Yeah, like if I made eye contact a few times and I can see there's a vibe there, then it's like okay. But if I can't establish there's a little something beforehand, it's like it's a little.
Yeah, because
that's
I think
true.
that's when the girls get more pissed, because they're like, we were making eye contact all night at a bar, and then you just like never came over, and then we left.
That's fair. That's fair.
Some women are like, yo, what happened to men? Like, none of them approach us anymore. Like, and I'm not gonna go approach a man. Like, this, what the fuck happened? Like, how are we supposed to date? They don't approach you because women have made it so fucking difficult for guys. Where if a guy even says, wow, you're so beautiful, you look very beautiful today, they'll literally look at him and be like, ew. Who the fuck wants to deal with this? Who? No one. That's why nobody's fucking approaching your ass. Okay? No one. Like, I've seen it. I've fucking seen it. With women just being like, ew. And it's like, yo, you could literally be like, you know what? No, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm flattered. And if they don't leave you alone, just keep it walking. Keep it moving. Keep it fucking moving. You don't gotta be a fucking bitch. You really don't. And that's why guys don't approach women anymore. That's literally why.
So apparently men are supposed to feel guilty for going to the gym, building their savings, and genuinely enjoying their lives. The audacity, the absolute nerve of men. Thriving without permission. Women across the internet are furious. And I mean furious. Not at war, not at their government, not at the cost of living. Furious that Chad is on a hiking trip and didn't text back. Let's examine this tragedy together.
What happened to yearning? What happened to men that pursue? What happened to men being confident enough to make the first move? I feel like our generation is just so whacked out. Like we're just all messed up. And I think with the phones, we're just so antisocial and just everything is just out of sorts and it's not how it used to be. And I think it's a real shame that like the art of dating and like yearning and pursuing is just dead. Like I watch shows like Bridgerton, I'm like, oh my God, we will never have that again. It's just gonna get worse. And it's actually so sad. Especially dating apps have just ruined it all.
I just saw a TikTok where a girl said a guy won't approach a girl if she's really beautiful. If she's really attracted to them, a guy will be intimidated and he will not approach you. But a guy will also not approach you if he's not attracted to you. Actually, a guy won't approach you, period, in this generation because it's princess treatment. The guys want to be pursued. The guys want to be approached. The guys want you to text them. The guys want you to make the first move.
Simping was never affection. It was the systematic surrender of self-respect in exchange for female attention that was never guaranteed. Men figured this out, and the women who relied on it as infrastructure are now discovering what life looks like without free male labor flowing in their direction.
Today's hot take is that being a simp is actually so attractive. Wow, that is really red. Like, guys will fully bully each other about being a simp. It's genuinely so attractive. And I just don't get why they get bullied for it. Like, it's so attractive, a guy knowing what they want and like being obsessed with you and like adoring you. Like, that's really attractive. Surely you girls have to agree that a simp is just the best thing ever. Every girl wants a simp.
Men are always talking about what do women bring to the table, but what do you bring to the table? I went on a date with a guy last night who brought literally nothing to the table. He wasn't cute. He didn't have money. He wasn't that smart. He couldn't fix anything. He said he could barely take care of himself. Didn't really know how to raise an animal. He brought nothing to the table. He was so lackluster, but yet he expected a woman that brought like everything to the table. He said that he wanted a woman who works. He wanted a woman who is doing something with her life. A homeless guy came up to us and I felt like I was going to have to be the one to defend us. So not only do you not have money, you're not cute, you don't bring anything to the table, but you also can't even like protect a woman, you know? It's just like guys need to bring stuff to the table too.
The information environment changed. Men started comparing notes in forums, in comment sections, in channels like this one. And what they discovered is that their individual experience wasn't bad luck. It was a demographic pattern. That's when the behavioral shift started, and it hasn't stopped since.
He stopped chasing you, and of course you believe it's because his feelings changed. You think he doesn't like you anymore, but what happened is not so romantic. He just got bored. Boredom starts the moment the challenge disappears, because men are extremely driven by pursuit. As long as he believes he's working hard to win something valuable, his attention stays on you. But when he feels that you really like him and that the outcome is already guaranteed anyway, his brain relaxes. The pursuit energy disappears, and that's exactly when the chasing stops. But a woman who keeps a man interested moves very differently. And this is very important. Remember this. She doesn't show how eager or excited she is. She shows interest, but it's measured. She is so tuned into her feminine energy that she just sits back and she observes what he does. But the most important thing she does, and that keeps him chasing after her, is she stays 100% focused on herself. She's not organizing her world around him, and that keeps him on edge. Because he knows she likes him, but he doesn't really know how much. And that keeps him proactive in pursuing her. Because attraction grows in the space between wanting something and having it.
Have you noticed that the moment that you finally stop trying, she suddenly remembers that you exist? Yeah, that's not love, that's control. The second you pull your energy back, she feels the loss of it and she panics. This is what most guys miss. She doesn't come back because she suddenly realized how great you are. She comes back because she can feel the shift in power. While you were chasing her, she was comfortable. You were predictable. Every text, every check-in, every story view gave her a hit of validation. But once you stop feeding into that loop, she starts to wonder who else might be getting your attention now. That uncertainty drives her crazy, and that's why she resurfaces. She'll test the water with a "hey stranger" text, a random story reply, or even something like "I miss talking to you, where have you been?" As much as you want to, don't take the bait. She's not trying to rebuild something real. She's trying to see if she still has pull. When you stop chasing, you shift the entire dynamic. You stop being her entertainment, her safety net. That's why she comes back. Not because she misses you, but because she misses what you were giving her. Don't reward that behavior. Keep your distance, keep your power. You don't want to be with a girl like that anyway. Come back for more harsh sister advice.
Notice what she's actually angry about. Not mistreatment, not disrespect. She's furious that men stop treating her attention as the automatic destination of their effort. That's entitlement without a mask on. She's angry that the unconditional became conditional.
Why are men so intimidated by me? Why do men get like emasculated and then start treating me poorly? That sense of insecurity. What? The male ego is such an interesting thing, but it's a very fragile one. The danger around the male ego is that people don't study it, people aren't aware of it, and so it's just this like inherent thing that if a guy is insecure, if he hasn't done the self-work, it shows. A red flag, sirens on the street, like fire in the building, get out, get out. That's how you can tell a high-quality man from a low-quality man.
Here's the thing about real men. Real men are not threatened by strong women. They're turned on by it. A lot of men don't like strong women because it requires them to be real men. Real men are not scared of your independence. They encourage it. They're proud of it. Because strong women don't need saving. We need somebody who's going to match our energy and grow with us. The good ones don't get intimidated. They get inspired. Like you tell them your life goals and they're like, okay, boss lady, I'll drive, you manifest. See, the good men get it because they don't feel less than when you shine. They're the ones holding the spotlight. The confidence is unmatched. They're not jealous, they're secure. You walk into a room looking good, they're like, that's my girl. And that's the kind of guy you want. That's why I hate the saying, strong women build weak men, because it couldn't be further from the truth. There's nothing sexier than a man who is secure in himself and wants his girl to shine.
And here comes the reframe. Men are intimidated. Men are immature. Men can't handle a strong woman. Every available explanation gets deployed, except the accurate one. That men made a deliberate, informed decision to stop investing in a deal that consistently returned nothing.
These are some reasons why men love being single. And ladies, if you're watching this, it's time to take some notes and step on up. A lot of men are single now because they don't have to deal with their partners nagging them about stupid, trivial stuff. Like, take out the trash, do the dishes, did you do this or that? Like, it gets really old, so when they're just living alone and doing their own thing, they're much happier. Men are enjoying being single because they can do whatever they want to their house, they can eat whatever they want, whenever they want, and they can do whatever they want. They don't want somebody just nitpicking everything. And lastly, they don't have a huge, I guess, financial burden because in most relationships, women want the men to pay for everything. It's never 50-50.
While the fury is being performed online, the men who stopped simping are training on building businesses, traveling, investing in themselves. They reclaimed the time, money, and energy they were pouring into women who weren't reciprocating. Turns out that's an extraordinarily productive reallocation of resources.
Men have video games and sports. What do women have? Like, they have golf.
So go find a hobby. At the end of the clip, she even says, what if women could have hobbies? You can. Y'all just choose not to have them. Then when some of you get into relationships and or marriages, you just expect your man to only have one life and it all be about you, and or you expect him to give up his hobby because he married you and or got into a relationship. That's not healthy. And now you're guilt tripping him when he wants to spend an appropriate time with his hobby and or hanging out with his friends. So then you wonder why he has an attitude or the energy / vibe is off when you force him to do things that he really doesn't want to do because he's always with you 24/7 and he never gets time to do the things that he wants, which could be said hobby and or go hang out with his friends. There is nothing holding women back from having hobbies and or going to do things with their girls. And the funny part is, in the dilemma of women saying, where are all the good men at? I bet if y'all found a hobby and then you started to notice men with the same hobbies, you'd be able to find a mate.
Men love to say that they're simple. Sir, your hobbies require financing. I just like fishing. No, you like boats, sonar, fishing rods, a backup fishing rod, and a cooler that costs as much as my first car. And hunting? I just like to go out into nature. Dress like a $3,000 tree. And cars, oh my God, I just like working on cars. That car has been in almost done status longer than some relationships. His tool collection costs more than a designer handbag collection. I've seen less equipment in a dentist's office, but he swears he's simple. Meanwhile, his hobbies have hobbies. Look, I respect it. They work hard, they play hard, but don't say you're simple. You are not simple. You are a man with a blue-collar budget and luxury taste.
The male friendship renaissance nobody predicted. Men who stopped orbiting women discovered genuine brotherhood, shared purpose, mutual accountability, real loyalty, no performance required, no approval needed, and they built something the simping operating system never had room for.
I just discovered that apparently females these days expect their man to pay the entire dinner bill if she brings her friends with them. For example, okay, I got a man and I got 3 girlfriends and we all go out to dinner. I expect him to pay for the bill, and these 3 girls also expect my man to pay for the bill. Who the fuck came up with this garbage ass rule? I'll tell you, insecure ass bitches who don't give a fuck about her man or his money. All they give a fuck about is what these 3 girls think. All they want to hear is, oh my God, she's so lucky that she has a man like him, that he paid the entire bill. Bitch, why don't you protect your man from evil eye? One of these bitches are going to try to snatch him up anyways. 2, do you not give a fuck about his money? Like, oh, is that all you care about? Fucking female validation? Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
If you can't lead me in an airport, cut. If you don't like pineapple on pizza, you're cut. If you don't work out, cut. If you have a nicotine addiction, cut. And to go with that, if you're on that Coke diet and not the one you drink, cut. If you play video games, you're cut. If you can't build a fire and keep it going outside, cut. If you haven't solo traveled, cut. If you breathe with your mouth open, cut. If you can't build an IKEA dresser, you're cut. And if you can't back up a trailer.
The audacity to have a long list like this, right? Number 2, what is her sense of self that she thinks that she can have all of these stipulations, right? Without, suffering any consequence, like winding up alone perhaps. Number 3, how would she feel if guys had a list for her?
Let's be precise. Entitlement is the expectation of male investment, financial, emotional, attentional, completely decoupled from any obligation to provide value in return. The dating profile that lists 14 requirements and describes her contribution as simply her presence. That ran unchallenged for 2 decades. Men are done accepting it.
I remember being so geeked for someone that I read a book this woman wrote where she interviewed 1,000 men to get to know them and understand why men act the way that they do and how they handle their emotions. I read that book just so I can know how to talk to the guy that I was in love with, just so I can understand him on another level. I never told him that I was in love with him. I never told him that I read that book just to try to know how to speak to him. Still to this day, he doesn't know, but that's how geeked I was. I love being in love. Like, I love loving someone. It's such a nice feeling, and yeah, I haven't felt that way about someone until that guy.
I don't think guys understand the power they have over girls. I'm gonna use my friend as an example. She's gonna kill me for telling this story. Hopefully she doesn't watch this. So one of my guy friends has been heavily pursuing my friend. She shot him down so many times. And yet finally when he stops pursuing her, now she's obsessed with him. Like, why did I catch her rewatching his story like 5 times yesterday? Y'all don't know your power. You start by being persistent and very interested, then you pull back, and suddenly we want you again. Worst part is he'll never fucking know it because she's never gonna show this to him. Like, he's gonna go the rest of his life not knowing that she was obsessing over him.
Here's the question nobody in polite company asks directly. What does the modern empowered woman actually offer a man that he cannot obtain more easily with significantly less legal and emotional risk through alternative means? The framework was never designed to survive that question, which is exactly why it produces so much fury when it gets asked.
So I just heard a woman on a podcast admit that she's been cheating on her husband and he found out. And so they ended up going to therapy, but then plot twist, she is taking zero accountability and she's playing the victim card. She even goes on to say that the therapist agreed with her, telling her that the husband drove her to do it. The lack of accountability amongst women these days is unreal. You guys cheat, it's the husband's fault. The guy cheats on you, it's also his fault. So sick and tired of seeing women take zero accountability even when they're the ones that did the action, even when they're the ones that are at fault. Still, zero accountability. And you wonder why men are not pursuing anymore. Then you wonder why.
The rational response to a deteriorating market position is to improve your offering. What we're watching instead is a committed insistence that the market is wrong, that the men who recalibrated are broken or threatened. It's a strategy with a very poor historical track record. 2026 is not improving its performance.
Here's what your mother won't tell you, but I will. When you make a man the center of your world, you will become his mother. You think that if you cook for him, clean for him, do everything for him, that is going to be the thing that makes him value more. When actually, you end up raising a grown man who feels entitled to your time, body, and attention, and you end up losing yourself in the process, and you become resentful, and then you're shocked when he turns around and he cheats on you with a secretary who literally did none of that. Women who actually win in relationships are the ones who center their life around themselves. Selfish women, self-focused women, because there is literally no downside to doing that. If you want to pick better men, decenter them entirely. Because the biggest mistake that I see women make is they start to like a guy, they give up their entire life for them. They give up their friends, their career, everything as if it's nothing. If you give away something as if it is nothing, it will be treated as such. Because it is the attitude you have about yourself that another person is going to adopt. If you treat him like a celebrity, like you are just so happy to be graced with his presence, he is going to treat you like a fan. But if you treat yourself like you are the prize, which you are, you will turn him into a believer.
Accountability is kryptonite for women. Harsh? Maybe, but look around. The excuses are endless. I was drunk. He lied to me. It's not my fault. I'm just the victim. Sound familiar? Here's the problem. When things go wrong, instead of owning the choice, there's always a story that shifts the blame on somebody else. She cheats and says, well, he wasn't giving me the attention. She lies and says, I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. She blows up a relationship and says, he made me do it. But here's the truth. Those aren't reasons, they are excuses. When men mess up, society rarely lets them off the hook, but women, shoot, too often they play the victim card. And here's the danger about that. If you never own your actions, you never evolve. Accountability isn't punishment, it is your power. Without it, your growth dies. Excuses feel safe, sure. They protect your ego in the moment, but tomorrow they destroy trust, respect, and even your self-worth. It's not the mistake that ruins the lives. It's the refusal to admit, yep, I chose that. I'm in the wrong. I'm sorry. Without that honesty, the same mistakes keep repeating. So here's the challenge. The next time you screw up, don't play the victim. Don't reach for the excuse. Try hard not to. Try and say the 2 hardest words on earth. I'm sorry and I'm wrong. Because until accountability becomes your superpower, it will always remain your kryptonite. You agree? Or am I completely wrong? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it.
There are women who examined their own behavior honestly and made different choices, who prioritized reciprocity over ideology. And those women are not single. Their existence is the most effective critique of the framework, and the one the framework is least equipped to answer.
I just asked my husband what made him realize I was the one, and his answer was not what I expected.
That's even though you're obviously very successful, very smart, very beautiful, you had not lost your happiness on the way. You were joy to be around, and you just exuded this feminine energy, which made you just so nice to be around. So this feminine, masculine polarity that we have, I think is one of the big differences that set you apart, and that made me feel like, okay, you're the one, you know, because it just felt so good when we were together. It was like, felt kind of like magnetic. You felt magnetic, and I just felt so good around you, and I still do. You know, it hasn't changed. Yeah. We're married now, and I still feel great around you. I love how you make me feel, and it makes me want to step up and be my best self to give you the life that you want. So but you are so feminine and so happy, and yeah, you haven't lost. Oh yeah, so we have this great polarity. I think that's what I noticed, that we just had this polarity, and I felt very masculine in your presence, and I loved how feminine you felt. So you made me feel like I'm kind of like a protector in a way. That made me feel very good, surprisingly good, because not many women had actually leaned into that in the way that you did. Mm-hmm. And that made me feel very good, unexpectedly good. I guess there's some of my biology there, just like that. Whenever I feel like a protector, I like that role. So it made me like you even more, because you made me feel that way. So.
And I feel like I just felt so happy the entire train ride to Paris, because like you had planned everything. You brought macaroons and clementines, and you arranged everything, and then I really felt like I didn't have to stress out about anything because you had it covered, and you were like naturally good at managing that.
Yeah, and I like doing that. And I remember in some previous relationships, I've been told not to do it. Like whenever I planned something and didn't consult, I was told like, oh, I did wrong, like that I made all the decisions for her, although I just wanted to kind of alleviate. Like
plan a romantic getaway.
Yeah. Like I just wanted to do the planning and not burden the other person with planning details. But yeah, so I'm very happy that you like that. That made me happy as well.
So to summarize, men stopped simping, started building, and are now living better than ever. And women are posting crying TikToks about it. Truly one of the great plot twists of our generation. Stay focused, stay unbothered, and whatever you do, do not under any circumstances text her back.
Thanks for watching Male Imperium. Please show us your love by subscribing to the channel using the bell icon. We're also up for debate and some healthy banter, so don't forget to comment under the video.